waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. We are officially into the offseason for the Miami Dolphins. With that being said, we got a lot of house cleaning to do, a lot of things to discuss so that this team can be prepared for next year and you could be prepared knowing what's going on and why the Miami Dolphins made all the decisions that they've made throughout the offseason. Today, we are going to talk about the fact that the Miami Dolphins need money, and we're going to talk about how they're going to get it. We're going to have a salary cap discussion, and I'm going to teach you something about the salary cap, especially for those who feel like the salary cap isn't real. It's very real. It just can be manipulated, and even that manipulation comes to bite you at some point. In the situation the Miami Dolphins are in right now, you will see that, and I will illustrate that today. So make sure you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe now. We're like 4 away from 24,700. So we're almost there. So make sure that you subscribe now and let your friends and family members know about the channel as well. Before we get started, we want you to know that this stream is being brought to you by Mojo Sports. Everyone already should know what Mojo Sports is on this channel. The player stock market, stock up, stock down, investing in your favorite players. They're going to be expanding. They already got college and all of those things. So if you're in Jersey, you can invest now. If you're not in Jersey, then you can still download the app and look at the market and get your own thoughts on certain players' stock going up and certain players' stock going down. Just download it. Downloading the app costs you $0. Okay? You can't even put money in if you're not in Jersey anyway. So you can definitely help this channel by downloading the app using the link in the description of the video. And if you don't have the link from the description of the video, you can also follow this QR code on the screen, because supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. And Mojo Sports, thank you for sponsoring this video. All right, y'all, before we get started, I'm going to check in, get y'all polls, see what y'all talking about in the comment section. Hope all is well. All right. Cut Byron, save 13 million, restructure Armstead and Hill, and maybe Chubb. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about a lot more than that in the implications. All right. Shout out to the Miami Herald and Barry Sanders, who dropped the article. I was halfway done with doing the research on this, and just out of the blue, he dropped all the work, even though some of it I had to explain to y'all because he's not explaining it in the way that I want to make sure y'all understand what's happening with the cap. Okay. But shout out to him for doing the hard work, at least. So go subscribe to the Miami Herald, and you can get those articles and things like this on a regular. All right. Yes, I did have a great birthday, Caesar. Thank you for caring. I see all this Lamar talk in the comment section. All I'm gonna say is this: it's gonna be a sad day if Lamar goes to the Jets or the Patriots, and it's looking like a potential. It's looking like a huge potential. It's going to be a sad day for the Dolphins. I know people don't want to believe that. But this offseason, I just have to be honest with y'all. I'm going to be very brutally honest about everything that I see and hear. Screw all that optimistic love and joy for my team. I am going to be brutally honest and tell you what I think will happen and what can happen. And hopefully those are good things. But if I see reasons to be really concerned, I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. All right. All right. So without further ado, make sure you hit that like button. Again, we got over 200 people already in here, but no likes. So punch the like button. All right. Punch that like button. JD the Great. Salute to your homie Chef Jew in the building, y'all. Lamar going to be a Jet and cook us. That would suck. That would really suck. All right. All right. Anywho, let's dive into this. Okay. I'm going to start with the article. We want to talk about it. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to share my screen and put the article on the screen so I can read off what was presented and then break it down for you all. Some of it is common sense. Well, let me share screen. Chrome tab. Let's go with the Miami Herald. All right, cool. All right, let's get this done. All right, let me get in here. Don't hog all the space. All right, let me zoom this boy up. 200. Maybe we can go 250. Yeah, 250 gets me to fit what I want to fit in. All right. So let's get it started. Matter of fact, we'll just go 200. That's a little aggressive. All right. So, all right. Let's do it. Get this crap out of here. Hate this. All right, here we go. Starting from the top. A Dolphins team that began the rebuild 4 years ago. I don't care nothing about all this fluff and all this crap. After ranking among the league leaders in cap space in recent offseason, the Dolphins stand at $16.2 million over the 2023 cap. So what that's saying, ladies and gentlemen, we're already in debt for next year. We're over the cap by $16.2 million. Now, the bad part about that is that's only 44 players signed. So I'm going to do some math for you all that this article isn't doing. Okay. We are $16.2 million over the cap with 44 players signed, which means you're going to need another 9 players to fill the roster. And we know those last nine players are your $800,000, $900,000, $1 million guys, right? So I went ahead and went on the low end, and I did 9 players times 800,000. I went low, okay? Even though it might even be greater, I just went low. That's an additional $7.2 million. So in reality, the Dolphins are actually about $23.4 million over the cap when they have a 53-man roster. They are $23.4 million over the cap projected when they sign 53 players, okay? The Dolphins need close to $5 million of cap space to sign the 5 draft picks that we have. The second rounder, the 2/3, and the 6th and the 7th. So now that $23 million goes to $28.4 million because you got to sign your draft picks. Give me 1 second. Let me. Grab your stuff right there, okay? All right, so that's $28.4 million behind the cap. Now, $28.4 million over the cap, not behind, but over the cap, okay? All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's see where this money is going. All right. Now, Chris Greer in the press conference, he wasn't worried. He said we got a lot of flexibility because that's the way he does the contracts. Now, look at what they're talking about. Remember what we were talking about the other day, what I told y'all? They're already talking about restructuring deals. Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, Teron Armstead, Xavier Howard, Emmanuel Ogbah. These are the contracts that they possibly could restructure. Now, take a look at this. The Dolphins' 23 cap numbers are $31.2 million for Hill, $22.2 million for Chubb, $21.1 million for Armstead, and $17.2 for Ogbah. We're not even mentioning Xavier Howard in this, okay? Now, if they restructure Tyreek Hill and convert his 2023 salary into bonus, they can save $11 million. If they do the same thing with Armstead, they could save $6 million. Same thing with Ogbah, they could save $15 million. $9 million with Ogbah and $15 million with Chubb. So for those 4 players, you could save about $41 million. Now, Barry's reporting that this giving the Dolphins $25 million in cap space. But again, my number is different from $25 million because again, you have the draft picks, which is about 5 million. That gives you 20, Barry. And then you have the 9 players to fill out the roster. Now, let's say that it ain't 9 players. Say that all the draft picks work out and they're on the active roster, right? So let's just add 4 players because you can get 5 in the draft, right? If they all work out. But let's just add 4 players at 800,000. That's 3.2 million. So now you have only $16.8 million in cap. So this 25 million is not the case once you sign the roster out and you also get your draft picks, okay? It's pretty much about 16.8 million. And from there, you're playing the swap game. Let's get rid of this player and bring in a more quality player. So right now we got $18.8 million of real play money to really do in free agency, which is literally nothing. Okay. Connor Williams' extension and restructure could save a few million off his 8.4 million cap hit because Connor Williams, he needs an extension. We don't have him under contract long term. But again, if you give him an extension and you're talking about restructuring the extension right away, you're doing the same thing you're doing with everybody else, giving a low cap hit early on to save some more money, but piling it on later, okay? And I'm going to teach y'all how they do that with the pile on later. All right, so a few things that could happen moving on from Ogba would be a realistic option only if he's traded, okay? His salary is pretty much guaranteed for 15 million this year, and the cap number is 17.2 million. Let's see here. Now, if he's cut, we're on the hook for 21 million. If he's not cut, we're on the hook for 17 million. Okay, let me hold her. You're good. All right, so but if he's traded before June 1st, the dead money hit would only be 6 million, and he's traded after June 1st, the dead money would be 2 million. So I'm going to tell y'all now, you can mark down Ogba on your paperwork or your ledger. They're going to be looking to trade him if they can because you brought in Chubb, but our pass rush woes are an issue. That's where it gets tricky. While a third restructure with Howard is possible, moving on from the veteran cornerback is not a realistic option. The reason why, his salary is pretty much guaranteed, y'all. And he's only a 1.2 million base salary this year, and his cap hit is only 10 million because the back end of it is where we set all his money. His cap number would swell to 33.1 million if he's cut. It ain't happening. I ain't got to talk about it. Okay. Now, cutting cornerback Byron Jones, but not until June 1st. Give you the numbers on that. Byron, no, we ain't got to worry about the fluff when he tried to come back. His 13.5 million salary is entirely non-guaranteed in 2023, and the Dolphins assuredly won't pay him that. He has a big 2023 cap hit of 18.4 million, and that cap hit drops only to 14.8 million if he's cut. If they cut him, we still got to pay 14.8 million cap hit. Even though his contract ain't guaranteed, we still would have a cap hit of 14.8 because of his restructure already in the dead cap that's left on the books. Okay. Now, if we cut him after June 1st, it'll only be a cap hit of 4.8 million, which look for Byron Jones to either be cut after June 1st or traded, which I don't know if anyone wants to pick up that type of cap number in a contract. All right. So if the Dolphins release him, wait until June 1st makes more sense. All right. Now the issue is if they do that June 1st, that cap relief wouldn't be available until June. So even if you cut him in June, all the free agents gone. Even if you save that money on Byron Jones, All the free agents gone. You just got money in the bank now, and there ain't many players left. So keep that in mind too. All right. Then they talk about a whole bunch of low-end things like tight end Ethan Carter, 2.3 million not guaranteed, restructuring all these players. Miami, all this stuff could leave them with over 40 million in cap space. And once again, that's not considering the draft picks. That's not considering filling the roster. So my assessment is, even if the Dolphins did all of this, right? Even if they did all of this, they would probably end up around $30 million in cap space. After doing all of that restructuring, they could clear up about 30 million in cap space. Okay. Now, another suggestion trying to trade Cedric Wilson, who's $5 million guaranteed of his $7 million salary. And he's an $8 million cap hit in 2023. Trying to trade him is an option, but if somebody will pick him up, had a non-existent year. And it's a shame that you signed him in the first place when you had two guys that were going to be the only ones getting the ball anyway. We mismanaged our money very big time. Chris Grier mismanaged over $30 million big time. It was just a waste. It was a waste. Okay. They talk about a Tua extension wouldn't make any sense. It'd be best to wait. Christian Wilkins extension, that has to be sorted out. And some bargain shopping on some other things, okay? That's pretty much what it all said. Now, the Dolphins, again, let me just say this. If the Dolphins do all of these things, they can clear up about 30 million. Now, here's the issue with that though, right? You clear up 30 million, but now you still need quality players in some positions. 30 million, we need a lot more than that. If we had about 70, we would feel really great right now. But 30 million is not much at all. Now, the Dolphins can bring in a lot of stuff and structure the deal to where it ain't a large cap hit this year. But this is where it's time for me to go ahead and educate people who always think the salary cap isn't real. It's time for me to help y'all out and show you that it is real. But I'm going to go ahead and show y'all what happens, what Chris Grier and all these GMs are doing that allows them to still go get whoever they want at the immediate moment, okay? So for those who aren't aware of how salary cap works with restructures, I am about to show you right now, okay? So let me share my screen. Window. All right. So follow me on this, okay? And again, this is an education moment. Okay, let's go 20. All right. One moment. Well, I don't know why my stylus act like you don't want to be the one working. Oh, that's why it's not on. All right, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028. Okay. All right. Let's say we have a player, right, who gets a 2-year, $50 million deal. All right. Hopefully y'all can see this. A 2-year, $50 million deal. Right. So year one, and I'm doing basic numbers to help you understand. Year one, 25 million cap hit. Year two, 25 million cap hit. Now we know that's not how it works, basically. So I'm gonna make this cleaner, y'all. Y'all forgive me. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 5-year, 50 million. No, I'm sorry. 2-year, 50 million. All right. So you got the first category, you have base salary, right? The second category, you'll have cap hit. The third category, you'll have dead cap. I'm just going to stick with cap hit and dead cap to start out with, okay? 1 second, y'all. All right, so my bad, y'all. So the first year cap hit is 25 million. The second year cap hit is 25 million. Okay. If you cut them before that first year, it's 50 million dead cap. Okay, that's going to go against your cap. If you cut them in the before the second year, it's only 25 million dead cap. Unrestricted free agent is the next year. Okay, they're a free agent. This is how contracts start out. All right. So let's just act like this is Tyreek's contract. 2-year, 50 million. This is how it's broken out. 25, 25, 50 million, 25 million, right? Now, here's where it gets into the dead cap money. Signing bonuses, okay? This is what teams do. On that $50 million contract, they may say, we are going to guarantee 15 million guaranteed. Okay? So what that does is you have an automatic 7.5 million dead cap no matter what you do, how you pay it out each year. So when they try to restructure a contract, this is what they do, ladies and gentlemen. This 25 million, my bad, I turned it off again. This 25 million and this 25 million, what they do is say, you know what? That ain't going to be your salary. We're going to convert that into a signing bonus. We are going to turn your salary into a signing bonus. And then we're going to restructure your deal. So here's what they're going to do. They're going to take that $50 million and they're going to say, we're going to convert 40 million of it into a signing bonus. So they write a check to the player for $40 million and hand it to them. Thank you for restructuring your contract. And we have restructured your deal all the way to 2028. It is still a 2-year deal. The player will still be an unrestricted free agent in 2025. But since they converted it into a 6-year contract, so now they can take every penny of the guaranteed bonus and they can split that out between every year. So $40 million split between 6 years. 40 divided by 6, 6.7 million. So guess what? You can start down here. Cap hit 6.7, 6.7, 6.7, 6.7. One, 2, 3, 25. This is wiped out. This is wiped out. They have converted the first year. That 10 million left over, they can play with that however they want between these 2 years. They can make this a $1 million cap hit and this a $9 million. They can make this a $2 million and this a $8 million. Whatever they want to do with those first few years. But that's how they did. Same thing they did it with Brady. Do you see how that works? They convert most of their salary into bonus because bonus is the only thing that you can spread out as dead cap. So now the player is gone in 2025, but for the next 4 years, you got dead cap that you got to play on that player anyway, even though they're gone. Even though the player doesn't even play for you anymore, you got dead cap that you have to pay for that player. That's how that works. And this is how you save money for the current, because now I'm only a $2 million dead cap number in 2023 instead of 25 million. Instead of 25 million, I'm only a $2 million cap hit. Because we converted it into bonus, and bonus is allowed to be spread out even in voidable years. So that's how they finagle it. This is a genius thing to do to get yourself cap space in the immediate moment. The problem is this. This is just one contract. In the article what Barry Sanders is talking about, Tyreek Hill's would be bigger than the 6.7. It'll be like 9.7, 9.7, 9.7, 9.7. So you would be Hill. Chubb would have dead cap for the future. Armstead would have dead cap for the future. X potentially. All of these guys, it starts to add up. The dead cap starts to add up. Do y'all know that what's his name? Ndamukong Suh ain't played for us in like 7 years, it feel like, but we just stopped paying his dead cap 2 years ago? And Ndamukong Suh ain't been on this roster for like, it feel like 7 years or something like that. But we just stopped paying his dead cap like 2 years ago. This is why I try to explain to y'all it's a window. We're in a window. And in that window, after that window closes, it's hard to make your team great because you got too much dead cap. You went for broke. You went for it all. You went for it all. Let me give y'all a real live example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to give y'all a real live example of what I've just tried to explain to you. Tom Brady. Here's your real live example of what I was explaining. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Brady is a free agent as of right now. He is a free agent as of right now in 2023 on here. This is his free agent numbers. He ain't even going to be on the team, and they got to eat a $35 million cap hit next year. He won't even be there, and they got to eat 35. The year after that, he will not be there, and they got to eat 10.7. After that, he will not be there, and they got to eat 10.7. And finally, in 2026, he will not be there, but they got to eat 2.7 million. Why? Because he was a $12 million cap hit. He restructured. He was actually on a 2-year $50 million, but he restructured to a 1-year $15 and got a bag full of cash. He got his bag full of cash 2 years ago. It ain't even up here. The 2021, you would see where they gave him a huge signing bonus. They converted his salary into a signing bonus. So the guaranteed money and signing bonus is what you can convert. And look what they did. 2-year, $50 million guaranteed at signing. 50 million guaranteed at signing. There you have it. And after that, it was 1 year, 25 million. But look at how this works, y'all. This is what's funny about it. This is the real funny part about it. I want y'all to notice this, okay? 2020, 2021 season, right? A 2-year, 50 million. 50 million guaranteed. Why the very next year did they have to give him a 1-year, 25 million? Because he restructured. This year, he should have already been covered for both years, but last year they did a whole nother one just to clear up space and gave him even more money. And now look at the damage that Tampa's going to be in. But I have to ask y'all this. Was it worth it? You got the Super Bowl you were chasing. Was it worth it? Y'all tell me in the comment section. What do you think? Was it worth it? You know me. Give me a Super Bowl. I'm good with the next 10 years being nothing. Now, but look at what they did also. Next year, they're just going to be trash. I mean, you just eating $35 million and you ain't even got a quarterback. He ain't even going to be there. But they front loaded it. They put a lot early so that they could manage the future years. They could still be okay in 2024. That's because they ate a bigger piece of the pie in 2023. They basically said, hey, man, if we ain't going to be good, let's eat as much as we can right away in 2023. And then from there, here come them voidable years. He'll be a cap hit. And technically, this says he ain't and look at this. After 2026, what do you see at the bottom of the screen? It goes back to 2023, unrestricted free agent. Because this is how they have to put it. They can't put it up here. They have to run the contract out and then say he's actually unrestricted in 2023. He is a free agent. But salute to Brady, because Brady's one of the few people that's willing to do this without long-term guarantees because you give him his money up front. Brady's going to allow you to have all the flexibility in the world and this is the thing, wherever Brady ends up, he's going to help that team tremendously because no matter what big contract he signed, the first year or two, he only going to be like a $10 to $20 million cap hit because he's going to make sure that he's going to allow them to structure it in a way where they can get more pieces. TD, my mom said it's worth it. That's usually a good sign. I agree. But once again, it's worth it when you're doing it for one man, your quarterback. But look at what Miami's doing. They're about to enter a realm where they might do it with 4 to 5 players just to be able to have some money to try to sign people and make the team better. Most teams do this for a quarterback, to pay their quarterback. But we doing it just to play our regular players. I'll tell you another thing that's concerning. Let's say Tua does ball out next year and he's the GOAT, right? And he becomes our franchise quarterback. If you do these restructures with all those players, now you're going to be shaking your head on how in the heck can I sign an elite quarterback? In 2 years from now. You're supposed to do this right now for your elite quarterback. Not do it now, and in 2 years, you're asking, how can I afford the elite quarterback? Because if you pay your elite quarterback 2 years from now doing this, you ain't going to have nothing on the team around them. It's going to be a lot of dead cap, and you can't afford their real salary. On Tyreek contract, he got years that go as high as $40 million, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see, just in case they change it. Let me check. Maybe they already moved some numbers. Oh, Jesus. So, look at this. On the back end, 2026, they making it seem like they're going to give $50 million. That just means his contract was never really fully guaranteed. They told him he getting 4 years, 120, but they only guaranteed $50 million, which is $70 million, almost $58 million short of that. And there go, well, not 58, but $68 million short of that. Well, there go $50 million of that 68 down there that they were never going to give you because they are not going to enter a year where you got a $50 million hit. But this year, Tyreek is a $31 million cap hit. $31 million cap hit. Let me see something. Hmm. Okay, good job. Oh man, I thought they had a tool where you could actually play with the salary. Um, you could show a restructure and everything. Expense statistics, transactions. No, I guess not. Look at this. This tells you the pre and post trade and everything, what the cap hits and all would be. Now let's go. Let's use the example for Tyreek Hill, right? Say they convert his 2023 salary into a signing bonus, right? You know, over there. Say they convert it into a signing bonus, as you already see, 5 million per year is already spread out. Okay. Signing bonus 25.5 million. You see how the signing portion right here is divided all the way out? So what they'll try to do is they'll try to convert the 31 million into signing bonus, right? So say they give them a 1.4 million dollar base salary. So now you take that 30 million with these 4 years left, right? They take that 30 million divided by 4, which is 7.5 each. And now this number is, well, they wouldn't do it this year because they're trying to save money, but it would be it would be 12.5 up here. It'll be 12.5, 12.5, and 12.5, but you'll add about 7 million on each year after that. And remember, more money becomes guaranteed. You see how they're pushing the bucket down the road and making it fatter as time goes? But when you do that with multiple players, and excuse me, y'all, forgive me, I'm wrong, okay? That 30 million wouldn't even apply in this year. It'll only be for these last 3 years unless they have voidable years. So it'll actually be $10 million each added on. So it'll be 15 million signing bonus, 15 million, and 15 million, which would increase all three of these by 10, which the dead cap numbers on each one would increase by 10. And you do this with enough players, you look in on the back end, and you don't have the money. Now somebody said we're gonna be fine. Look what the Saints did, and they had negative 67 million. Do you realize what they did? They did a whole bunch of this stuff, but it gave them cap relief for that year. What they're doing is pushing the bucket down the road. It's just pushing the bucket down the road. But you also have to understand they also had key players with very low salaries. Look at the quarterback situation and stuff. So they're trying to catch up over years by doing that. And also look at the Saints. Are the Saints in the playoffs? Were the Saints in contention to win 10 games? This is what you deal with when you're negative 67 and you bring it back even because you're required to. So let's not say we'll be fine. Look at the Saints. You end up like the Saints. That's the point. That's the point. You end up like the Saints. People got to stop that thought process. The Saints cleared up 67 million. You can clear it up. Nobody's saying you can't. This is a way for Miami to get money. But at some point, you have 30, 40, $50 million of dead cap. If the salary cap is 250 million at one point and you got 50 million dead cap, you can only have a $200 million team. How are you going to compete with Buffalo if they got a $250 million team? How are you going to compete with the other teams if their roster is 250 million worth, but yours is 200 worth because you got 50 million dead cap? That's how that works. So I agree with you. Yeah, the Saints. They moved some money and got it done. But look at the results. That's what matters. Let me get this for y'all real quick. Give me a second. One moment. I'm about to show y'all something to give y'all the picture of what I'm talking about. Trying to pull up the Saints. Right now, the salary cap is just over 200 million, something like that. I'm pulling up the Saints right now and tell you show you how their next few years gonna go. All right, it's loading right now. Just what I thought. Just what I thought. Look at your beloved Saints. 2023 total cap allocation 273 million. Why, if they cleared up 67 million last year, they got to clear up another 60 million this year? Next year, we ain't even in next year yet. 2024, they already at 265. Do you see how that money gets pushed? They ain't relieved until 2025. And nobody has a cap that high in 2025. 147? This is the prime example with the Saints. For the next 2 years, and look, they ain't even got 53 men under contract. For the next 2 years, they starting the season over 50 million behind. 41 players and you at 265. Lord, see? That's why I'm telling you. The Saints cleared up 67 million. Yeah, to make it worse. And we're talking about a team that's only spending 16 million on quarterbacks and 9 million a year after. It's still in that much trouble. Make that make sense. Look at all the trouble they in. Oh my gosh. Boy, the Saints got it bad. Man. You can't make this stuff up. Hold on. Yeah, man, it say next year they enter the season with negative 53 million in cap. And guess what? It ain't just because of the dead. It's the way they restructuring the contracts, pushing them back. Right now, that's where all the money lies. The thing with the Saints, there's actually ain't even dead cap because these players are still on the team, but they keep restructuring. That's what's even worse about them. The players are still on the team. They just keep restructuring. This is bad, man. And I'll give you a comparison because I'll pull up the Dolphins. I'll give you the comparison. This is the Saints, 273, 265. Let's go Dolphins. 273, 265. Update. 241, 190. Way lower, but we're headed there. If we restructure those deals, we will be there for 2024, 2025. We will be there if we do those restructures. We'll be looking like them. And we ain't far off from them now. So how much over the cap is the Dolphins? Right now, I know that. Hold on, let me see, because the new cap numbers should be in here. Give me a second. guaranteed remaining. They got the market values. Let's see here. 15 million over the cap right now. That's what this says. Barry's article says 16.2, but according to Spotrac, it's 15 million pretty much right down here at the bottom. All right. And that's top 51. So yeah. We rolling over $2 million. That means we had $2 million left over this year. And look at that. We only got 1 million of dead cap. But we're gonna definitely enter that realm eventually. Miami can't do what the Saints doing, and restructuring their deals will do that because basically Chris Greer will be trying to carve out a window to win. But you better hope that all your eggs are in the bucket and you carved out the right window. TD, compare the Jets. All right, Dolphins 241, 190. Let's do the Jets. 241, 190. New York Jets. Jets 217, 146. They got cap space. They in a great place. The Jets good. The Jets are good. Not only do they have cap space, but their moves they'll free up more money. The Jets are building the right way. Right now it says they have $8 million in cap space, so you could look for them to possibly have maybe around 45 to 50 million, maybe even more in free agency. They straight. Buffalo should be on the tough side right now. Let me see. Buffalo's a different story because they kind of went for broke too. That's why we all say you got to do it now or you're in trouble. Yep. They're kind of like Miami, 231, 215. But they winning. And they got their quarterback. And they're doing that with their quarterback making 40 on here and 42 the next year. They're doing that with their quarterback making 40 and 42. Now they got to sign some more players. That's the issue. They're low on player sign. So right now they're capped. They're negative. Pretty much, I'll say 8 million, 6 to 8 million. They negative. But they got enough contracts on that roster where they know they're in their window now. They want to restructure and do things like that because they got the team to try to do it now. And this is with paying the quarterback. $35 million on the O-line. Man, let me look at my O-line. How much money we spending? Jesus. We spending 44 we spending 44 million on the O-line and Buffalo spending 30. You can't make this up. Man, let me make sure that's the Dolphins. Oh, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. See? Oh! It's why I told y'all. I would have took Armstead 16 and I would have went and got me 2 real good linemen for $8 million each. I would have went and got 2 for $8 million each. Gosh. Patriots. You want to see where the Patriots at? All right, let's find them bums. All right, Patriots. Jesus. Patriots got all the money, y'all. Patriots about to get them a top quarterback. The Patriots about to get them the best quarterback money can buy. I wouldn't be surprised if Lamar don't end up there, and they'll still have 30 million, 40 million left over. They got 58 guys under contract, only supposed to have 53. And they only running at 185. Belichick don't care. Belichick don't spend no money and almost made the playoffs. And only spend $26 million on their O-line. I'm done. I'm so freaking done. They about to get the best quarterback money can buy. Let me see. Oh my gosh. Let me see this. Right now, they got $55 million in cap space, and they probably gonna free up a lot. $55 million, and every team can free up about 20 to 30 million every year. Just get that straight. Saints clearing up 67. They had to do something drastic. But every team, usually the contracts on their roster, they can clear up another 30 million plus easy. New England may have about 80 million when they make their cuts and do all that stuff. They're going to go get a top quarterback. It's pretty clear now. I couldn't imagine them sticking with Mac Jones. Even though the year before he looked solid, real good. This year it wasn't as good, but he wasn't an absolute train wreck. Truth be told, if you put the 3 years of Mac Jones and the 3 years of Tua together, you could still argue Mac Jones overall had a better career so far. Even if I'll say Tua's better. But you could argue if you put the 3 years together, Mac Jones has had a better career so far. And they still probably going to move on. And I believe now officially Tua is better than Mac Jones. Mac Jones has his strengths. Mac only has 2 years. You're right. Well, honestly, you could put 2 or 3 in Mac too, and Mac has had a better so far. And they're still going to probably move on for Mac after 2 years. Yes. You see what the Dolphins doing. You can. Go ahead. You can give them to your friends. Listen. Let's be clear, y'all. Somebody in the AFC, whether it's the Jets or the Patriots, are getting a top quarterback this offseason. Whether that's Brady, Lamar, Carr, one of those two teams, if not both of them, will get one of these top quarterbacks. And Aaron Rodgers is in play as well. One or both of these teams are getting a top quarterback. We are getting a top quarterback. Macadon, I don't know who you representing. Mac, if that's your name, then that's your name. If not, then you're representing the Patriots, baby. Listen, y'all, they done triple down on Tua. It is what it is. I don't want to sit here and argue and be like, oh, we're dumb if we do this. They done already said they are. I have to believe them. I have to believe their stupidity at this point. I officially have to believe their stupidity at this point. I have to. Carr, a top quarterback. Well, top quarterback is like, I always go on the scale of the quartile system. So a top quarterback is top 8. Second quartile, second tier out of 4 is 9 through 16. And then the third quartile is 17 through 24. And then 25 through 32, or 24 through 32 is the last quartile. Derek Carr is teetering. Maybe he's second quartile now, but any given year, he's always teetered that first and second quartile. He's in that 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 range. Last year wasn't great, but I don't ever go off of 1 year with these veterans. Just like last night. Oh, Brady is washed. That's it for him. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Why are Dolphin fans saying that? Do you not remember Brady's last year in New England? Especially that last game and what we did to him, pick 6. He out there throwing picks all over the place, throwing it in the dirt, acting like he didn't care. Y'all don't remember how bad Brady was? that year, and we played them in the last game, and they didn't even make the playoffs? And then comes back the very next year and wins the Super Bowl. So stop. That man's arm was just fine last night. One thing y'all don't recognize about Grady, y'all think now don't get me wrong, he had some bad throws. He did. But he didn't have as many as you thought. Brady has perfected this thing where you know how Tua's going to throw it no matter what, right? And he going to complete more than he get picked or almost picked. Brady has perfected that. Brady and his anticipation now, he cocked back, he throwing, and if at the last minute he know that it ain't open like I hope that it would, he angles that arm down and it goes forward 10 yards in the dirt. He's perfected that. Because every single one of them plays where it's like, oh, he threw it in the dirt, I was saying to myself, well, good thing he did because it would have been picked off. He trying to do that. Now, he got caught last night going through his progressions, nothing there, trying to throw it out the back of the end zone and didn't get enough under it and got picked off. Brady was done in Tampa. They couldn't run the ball. Brady needs a piece of art that he can orchestrate. Brady want to be able to be at an O-line, checking the D. You know how many times last night Brady said, I wish I could check into a run because it'll be perfect, but we can't run the freaking ball. This will be a perfect play to check into a run, but we can't run the freaking ball. So he had to put everything on his shoulder, and guess what? They knew you did. Cowboys wasn't worrying about no run game. Linebackers back, pin them 4 guys, send them at them, and play that coverage. Everything was tight last night for them. Woo, I can't wait till we play Dallas next year. I want to see how great our quarterback develop into with that man coverage with 2 high safeties. Woo, I can't wait. Man, I can't wait to see how Tua done got to MVP level against defenses like that next year. Hey guys. Carter, well, see, you taking my pens. No, sir. Go get yours. Bye-bye. Go get your pens, okay? Sorry, y'all. Pick that up. Use that table if you want to draw. All right. You talking about an MVP quarterback before he got hurt. What are you talking about? I don't get what you mean. And another thing, y'all stop that foolishness. If y'all gonna keep on perpetuating that foolishness, then it's a good thing that Miami struggles every year because you get what you deserve. If you're a Dolphin fan perpetuating that foolishness, then as we lose every year, you're getting exactly what you deserve. This whole notion before he got hurt, he was playing at an MVP level. Stop it. Don't be prisoners of the moment. Y'all want to sit here and act like the Chargers, the Green Bay Packers, and the San Francisco game didn't even exist. Y'all want to act like the Pittsburgh game didn't exist. The first Patriots game didn't exist. I just named you 6 games he was not good in whatsoever. Kind of MVP candidate to have 6 bad games. Living off of 3.5 great games and all of a sudden MVP level. Because he carved up some of the worst defenses in the league. Stop that mess, man. Get some help. It's ridiculous. If our first three opponents was the Chargers, the Packers, and the 49ers, and he played like that, all y'all will be calling for him to be benched, even his most loyal. Stop being prisoners of the moment. Put the whole thing together. And he wasn't near no MVP candidate. He was an average quarterback at best when you put the whole season together. How can he be average with the highest QBR? Because you had one game where you threw 6 touchdowns. That's worth 3 games. The Baltimore game held you down for the freaking 49ers game. It held you down for the Chargers game. But he had the #1 passer rating. Do you know how passer rating is calculated? Go rack up yards and touchdowns and you'll have a high passer rating, and don't throw no picks. That's why you got to go look at PFF. And he still ended up grading out good. Well, I'm going to tell you now, man, I wish you would have finished the season. So we'd have got a more realistic outlook and picture of who he really was this year. He was #1 in passer rating. How in the heck the #1 person in passer rating wasn't even in the playoff game? Yeah, I seen the schedule for next year, bro. That's why I can't wait. I ain't tripping. Tua QB1 next year, I ain't tripping. Let's go. Because what next year's schedule tells you, he gonna either get a bus ticket first class or he gonna get a big time contract, and we all gonna be happy about it. There ain't gonna be no in between. Unless the Dolphins stupid enough to pick up the 5th-year option. Guessing. But there ain't going to be no in between. I welcome it. Please. Thank you. All right. Tua year 4. You either going to get a first class bus ticket or you going to get a fat contract, and we all going to say it's worth it because of how great he was. It's only 2 things that can happen. You can't be middle of the road because the schedule won't allow you to. Yeah. There ain't no scenario next year where we miss the playoffs and we got to worry about continuing with Tua. Ain't none. There ain't a single scenario where we miss the playoffs and we got to worry about continuing with Tua. Because next year, unless he play like the Lions, Bears, and Browns all year, we ain't going to no playoffs. We can't take 3.5 games of that. We are going to need 13 games of the Lions, Bears, and Browns next year. And you're only going to win, and you might only win 11 of those if you do. Yes, take him to your room, Kimmy. MVP of the ICU, man. I ain't even listen. I ain't even. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I'm not into complaining about us keeping Tua anymore. I'm not into complaining about it anymore. Now, if the Jets or the Patriots get an elite quarterback, I'm gonna have a brief moment. I'm telling y'all in advance, I'm gonna have a brief moment of complaining. But I don't want to be into complaining anymore because I've settled in. This started back about 4 weeks ago after that bad stretch he had. I settled into not caring. I settled into, you know what, my job is just to talk to y'all about the Dolphins, tell you what I think they doing stupid and tell you what I think they doing smart, and let time tell who was on the right end of that. Because it ain't worth my blood pressure caring that much anymore. It's too painful and worrisome and anxiety driven. Too much. TD, explain the rise of Daniel Jones. What have I been telling y'all? Daniel Jones is the prototypical guy that if you struggle early, you invest long term. Why? Because he got a freaking cannon and he's also a mobile quarterback. Look at what he did in the playoffs. The cannon was on full display. He ran for like 80 yards. Got a playoff win. See, the intangibles have always been there for Daniel Jones. He just needed to put it together and in the right situation. No, don't tell me running game. That man threw for 300 and had 80 rushing yards. He was the big part of the running game. Dayball had a decision. Dayball could have been the Dolphins coach or the Giants coach. He chose a cannon and mobility over pocket short Tua, who has no superpower, who everybody tried to sell this accuracy superpower. Not realizing this year he had his lowest completion percentage, even lower than any Flores year, of 64%. %64 completion percentage from Tua this year. And that's with elite wide receivers, Tyreek and Waddle. Is Skyler the prototypical QB? Almost. He got to show his mobility more. He showed it in college. Because I'm going to be doing the all 22 maybe later this evening of Skyler. And I think we'll be able to see a lot of areas of opportunity for him. But my thing is Daniel Jones, and the sad thing is our front office and stuff in their mind, see, you give a guy time. No, man, look at what he had. And the intangibles he's had, now he's using them. Tua doesn't have a single superpower. Y'all tried to sell. Listen, Tua ain't had a single superpower. And then, since they knew he ain't have a superpower, they looked at the 70% completion that he had under Brian Flores. All those 70 and 80% completion games he had under Brian Flores, they tried to say, that's the superpower, his accuracy. Knowing that this man has one of the worst ball placements there is. And this year, even with bad ball placement, 64% completion percentage. Where was that accuracy, y'all? Where was that elite accuracy? I guess it only worked in 4 games in a year when you're paying the Lions, the Bears, and the Browns and stuff like that. TD, he been had accuracies since college. What you talking about? 64% completion? What you talking about? And you watch these games, this all 22, just like me. You see all that terrible ball placement. And sometimes he could throw a beautiful, perfect pass. But many times his ball placement is horrible. This offense hasn't, even with Tua, this offense hasn't maximized what it was capable of. Just like Skyler in the playoffs a few days ago. Some of those could have been touchdowns if they weren't slightly underthrown. That's Tua all day, especially on the deep ball. Now, according to PFF, 3 of those passes were 100% on the receivers. 3 of them were 100% on the receivers. The rest of them, Skyler could have made a better pass. Amazes me. What are you talking about? Who is that, MJ? Who made the playoffs? Who you talk about? I'm coming, mama. Come on. You're just so hungry. TD, can you do an adjusted stat line for Skylar taking into consideration of those drop passes? I don't. When you say adjusted, are we gonna assume? Oh, I didn't know that. MJ. Are we gonna assume that we caught them? Is that what you're trying to do? If you want to assume that we caught those balls, you could add 130 yards. Now, I can't adjust the touchdowns because I don't know if we would have got in. The only thing you can realistically adjust is the yardage if we caught them. Now, our score may have been better because we would have maybe had more points because all of them would have led to, at minimum, field goal range. But you would be able to give Skylar a stat line of 350 yards. But I can't give him any additional touchdowns because I don't know if they would have went to the house. I mean, we could believe they would have, but I don't know. But I'll say this. We catch those 3 drops, them big ones, we won. That's more realistic to say we won than a 4th down pass that wasn't perfect to Gesicki. Which is crazy to me how everybody want to break down that play. That play is why we lost the game, according to everybody, which is ridiculous. All these agendas. Tyreek was open over the middle. He wasn't open. He had a linebacker sitting right there in the lane. With pressure coming right up the gut. These narratives, boy. I don't know why people are so threatened by Skylar anyway. Showing that you threatened by Skylar by being extra critical of him shows how much that you're trying to protect Tua. And why? And I'm tired of having a quarterback you got to protect like this. Josh Brown, I understand he missed many. I ain't even seen the film yet, and I'm sure he missed many. If Tua missed many every week, I'm sure Skylar did. I'm not surprised that Skylar missed many opportunities. Tua does it every single week. That's not a surprise to me. Not a surprise at all. Skylar isn't a threat to Tua. Come on, man. I didn't say he was, Jermaine, but they acting like he is. They acting like Skylar was drafted #1 overall in the 1st round in comparison to Tua. Oh, look at what he did. He did this. He didn't do that. Truth be told, man, I honestly think if Tua would have played that game, it would have been a train wreck. It would have been a train wreck. With Milano and them coming up the middle all day, nobody talks about the simple fact that the Buffalo Bills literally at least 10 times had a free rusher coming at Skylar. Nobody want to bring that up. Now, you give me 10 times a free rusher coming at Tua. Oh, I guarantee you he don't handle it that way. I can guarantee you he don't handle it that way. Matter of fact, there might have been a stoppage in play for a while he went to go get checked out. Could almost guarantee that. Hey, mama. But that's neither here nor there. We lost the game. And this notion that Tua would have played, we would have won. I love when people say that. You know why? I just ask him, why didn't Tua play? If he would have played, we would have won. Then why didn't he play? What was wrong? Why didn't Tua play, people? Exactly. He either never there when his team need him most, or he there and play like trash. Don't forget that. There has never been a scenario when his team needed him most where he was either there, or if he was there, he didn't play like trash. Please give me one scenario when his team needed him the most that he was there and he played great. Give me one scenario in 3 years. Give me one. The man at least 40 games in now, maybe 30, 35. I don't know. But give me one time where they needed him most. He was there and he played well. And people out here putting all their faith on that. It's one thing or another. Can't expect you to be there because you're hurt. And if you're healthy, when we need you most, you play like trash. Oh, I can't wait for next year. Oh, go look at that schedule. Oh, I can't wait for next year. Because guess what? We all going to shut up next year. Me, you, everybody going to shut up next year. The proof going to be in the pudding one way or another, and I'm not speaking on which way that's going to be because I don't care. It's going to fall where it fall, and we all got to accept the result. We all going to have to accept the result. If we finally got our franchise quarterback for the future, we all got to accept that result because it's going to be clear he would have definitely have earned it. If he trash, I don't want to hear nothing about no O-line. I don't want to hear nothing about no Armstead getting hurt. I don't want to hear nothing about no defense. I don't want to hear nothing about no running game. I don't want to hear nothing about no Mike McDaniel. It is what it is. Tua's going to ball out next year. Y'all said that it's rookie year. You said that it's sophomore year. You said that it's junior year. Oh, he did ball out his junior year. 3.5 games. But he had the number 1 passer rating. Stop. I remember at the beginning of the season, Joe Burrow, first game, he threw 4 picks. What was all y'all saying? Oh, Burrow trash. Oh, this and that. I still remember that. He ain't going to win no MVP, but he one of the top 5 candidates. This is why you got to let the year play out. And it's so funny that y'all were talking MVP after the man had missed almost 3 games with a small sample size when half the games he didn't even play great. Y'all were talking MVP after the first Patriots game, after the Bengals game, after the Pittsburgh game. Y'all saw those games, and we talking MVP? Ridiculous. He was never an MVP candidate. He was a media MVP candidate. You want to know how he was never an MVP candidate? He had more votes than everybody in the NFL for the Pro Bowl and didn't even get selected in the first team. Because the players and the coaches decided. And they knew what the real deal was. Now, he was a media MVP. He was never a real MVP candidate. So I push back on anybody who want to argue that all summer. I mean, he was playing like an MVP candidate. He was playing like a media MVP candidate. Y'all sold that just like you sold him in the Pro Bowl. And still ain't get so. How you got 200,000 more votes than everybody and still don't oh my God, and still don't get selected. I'm trying to tell y'all, do y'all realize how many non-votes he had to get from the players and the coaches to not get in? Do you know how many non-votes you had to get to not get in? Man. Man. Players know what time it is. Now he'll be lucky if he get in the NFL top 100 players. He'll be lucky if he get in that. I'm hopeful he get into 80 to 100. Getting in is still good. Hopefully Tua will get in. Top 100 players voted on by the players. Oh, you burped in my face. Bet you Tua be top 100. I ain't saying he won't. I didn't say he won't. I'm just saying if he don't be surprised. Hopefully he get in that 80 to 100 range. Hopefully. TD, Tuaneers are believing the MVP crap. Real Dolphins fans can see through a few good games. Man, listen. We all knew that from the get-go. Everything he does good will be amplified. Anything he does bad will be minimized. That has always been the playbook. Not right now. Hold on. Huh? I'll make you a little, okay? Whoa, get up. Move that seat. All right, bye-bye. I got her. No, you can't. That's my tablet. Tua is built flat. Tua is this franchise savior. Man, I hope so. That's all we've ever wanted, bro. Dr. Jekyll, that's all we've ever wanted, for him to be the franchise savior. The only issue is he ain't live up to that yet. And all we can do is talk about how he ain't living up to it until he does. That's all I want, him to be the franchise savior. He's the guy here right now. Tua is Miami Dolphins franchise QB. Get used to it. We've been used to it. What are you saying? Get used to it. We've been used to it. We've been used to losing. We real Dolphin fans. Don't tell us to get used to it. We used to losing. We Dolphin fans. We used to lose it. Tua ain't nothing. Tua is just a drop in the bucket talking about getting used to it. He just added drop in the bucket of getting used to losing. We are used to it. So with Tua, we used to it. Tua is our franchise, is our quarterback, starting quarterback next year. Oh, we used to it. We used to it. Man. So stop whining. Let me ask you a question. Were you whining when we lost versus the Bills? Bester in Miami, YT, were you whining when we lost to the Bills? Were you whining when we lost to the Bills? Did this team do anything this year that made you complain? Please answer the question. Did they do a single thing this year that made you complain? We are, Paul. We're going to go. So funny how people so hypocritical. We'll stop complaining. If you ain't complaining about nothing this team has done, then why do you even care about the team? Why are you even watching this stream? I'm going to support whoever behind QB regardless. I didn't ask you that. You see how you ignored the question? I asked you, did you complain about anything this team did this year? Don't escape the question I asked you. I support whoever behind center. No, did you complain about anything this team did this year? Matter of fact, last year or the year before that. Did you complain about anything? Just curious. Maybe you're the only diehard good Samaritan that's out there for the Dolphins. Stop complaining. Yeah, I did, but it's all people talking about is Tua when it's more to it than just him. This is what matters to us. So whatever those things were that you were complaining about, that's what mattered to you. I'm sorry, I have a bigger picture philosophy of all of this. I don't care about all those other things because if he's there, none of those things matter anyway. You can fix all them other things that you complaining about, and we still probably gonna lose because of him. Whether that be we get into the big game, he hurt and can't play. Or that be we get to the big game and he loses. So you're allowed to complain about your multiple little things, and I can't say, you know what, I'm just gonna complain about one. No, don't tell nobody what they can complain about and what they can't complain about. You stop whining about me whining. How about that? Tell me I can't vent my frustrations with this organization in the decisions they make, in the years that we waste. Freaking years that we waste. I bet you if they re-sign Josh Rosen right now, I bet you if Tua tore ACL right now and they re-sign Josh Rosen, I'll be hearing from you talk about what are they doing? Stop complaining. Yeah, mama. I'm not allowed to have an assessment and an opinion. My assessment and my opinion is that the Miami Dolphins are wasting years of our organization that we could be winning on Tua. And he's not the answer. Now I understand his book isn't written yet and he could end up being the answer, but my opinion is that he won't be. Now, if 3 years from now he don't end up being it and we trade him or cut him, and we're like, yeah, he just wasn't it. We tried everything. Why I gotta be chastised right now for seeing that? Or at least believing that. It was my opinion. The difference is I'm prepared to be wrong about it. It's okay if I'm wrong. If they literally cut Tua right now and sign Josh Rosen, 99.9% of every single one of y'all are going to say, why would they do that? He's not a franchise quarterback. He cannot be our franchise quarterback of the future. But it'll be okay to do it then. Okay, TD, so who you want a QB if we move from Tua? I want the Miami Dolphins, and hear me clearly, ladies and gentlemen, y'all always have my thought process mistaken as if I don't like Tua, I just don't want him. I want the Miami Dolphins to pursue the best option available. And if I see you going after Brady and Brady got a choice and he says no, I see you going after this one and that one and that one, and they say no, and we got Tua, let's go to it. That's the best we could do. I am just asking this organization to put us to try to upgrade every position possible if they can. Try. Don't settle. Especially the important positions. And if you can't get it done, then okay, you tried. Now let's hope for the best. Let's go to her. You're the best we can do right now, so let's go. The problem I've had is he has not been the best that we can do, clearly. We have had multiple opportunities to upgrade, and we botch it. And don't act like it's a me thing. They've tried, but then they quit on it. They botch it every time. I'll go a step freaking further. I've even said, go get Brady and let Tua chill for another year, a year and a half or two. Let him learn from the GOAT. Maybe that'll be the final fine-tuning he needs to take over in 2 years to be our dude. But I cannot entrust these 2 years of Armstead, Tyreek, Waddle, because he going to need his money coming up, and all these other guys. I cannot trust that in the hands of a rookie contract quarterback that ain't proved nothing yet. Well, look at year 3, Josh Allen. Where was Josh Allen at this time of the year in year 3? We spent the whole year talking about year 3 players. Year 3 players. Look at what they did in year 3. Look what they did. Where were they this time of year in year 3? In the freaking playoffs, going to AFC championships, going to Super Bowls, going to different things. Mahomes, freaking Josh Allen, all of these guys. And that's why I'm actually a little reserved on Herbert even now. You owe fans the best you can give us. Not no patch job. I mean, y'all do realize in the NFL, there are a lot of plays where nobody's open and ain't nothing a quarterback could do. And you have some that's going to throw it away or some that's going to take matters in their own hands. That's the difference in today's NFL. At least Herbert played in the playoffs. Yeah, and that's a good thing. But at the same token, I expect more. And he has the intangibles. That gets him further. But he did get knocked down a little bit on my scale. Still that dude. But my overall scale, you got to win. You got to win. And yeah, Trevor Lawrence came up a little. Daniel Jones came up a lot. But you got to win. Oh, I just want to win. I'm tired of losing, man. And as long as I love this team, I'm going to complain because it's all we can do. We have no other control. No, go draw. Tua will be the greatest quarterback in franchise history. That's what we all hoping for, man. No matter how critical I am of Tua, you don't understand me. I hope Tua becomes the greatest quarterback in franchise history. I have always told y'all, Tua, allow me to rave about you. Allow me to have your back. Allow me to be blinded, and not blinded in a bad way. Allow me to overlook your flaws because of the work you put in as far as what you've already built. Allow me to. And I told y'all, TD, man, what he just did to the Lions, the Bears, and the Browns, you gotta admit he's an elite quarterback now. And I told y'all, I'm not hating on him, but I still can't give that to him yet. We're early in the season. When we play San Francisco, then let's talk. But y'all don't want to acknowledge that. I told y'all that 5 weeks before it happened. I told you what was going to happen on my stream. I said, tell me, am I wrong, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section? When they said Tua was coming back from injury the first time, I said, now what's going to happen is we're going to beat up on these trash teams down this stretch. The only team that'll give us a run for our money is the Browns because they loaded, which I was wrong about. That's the only team I think that's capable to give us a run for their money because I'm going off of how they were last year. And I was wrong. But I said, we're going to rattle off. We're going to go about 4-1, and don't be surprised if we 5-0. Did I say that, yes or no? Please, in the comment section, for y'all who loyally follow this channel, did I say that, yes or no? And then from there, I said, now when we play San Francisco, we play the Chargers, we play the Bills, and we play the Green Bay Packers. That's where I'm going to really determine how good Tua is. Not all these trash teams. I will not know. I don't know nothing about these trash teams. I don't care nothing about these wide open zones. I want to see him against teams that have the personnel that can match up and make it tough. And if you break through that, you that dude, like Mahomes did when he played San Francisco. And I even told y'all, we ain't going to beat San Francisco. San Francisco finna embarrass Tua. I told y'all that. I said, San Francisco is about to embarrass Tua. I said, you know what? Let me shut up. Y'all going to see. I'm going to leave it alone. San Francisco is going to embarrass Tua. And I said, the Chargers will give us a run, but they too depleted in their secondary, so we should win that game. Boy, was I wrong. And I kept telling you, I'm worried about that Green Bay game. We should win, but I don't know. It's just something about it. But I told y'all the exact game the debacle was going to start. I told you 6 weeks before it happened, that San Francisco game is going to be the first game where everything going to fall apart. And San Francisco wasn't even as great as they were back then when I said it. I just know how they play. And I know the type of defense they play would actually give opportunities, but you're going to have to be perfect. You're going to actually have to play on that Lions, Bears, Browns level, but it ain't going to be given to you like they did. I said all of this ahead of time, so it's not an agenda. Everybody think agenda, you got an agenda against Tua. Because I also said if he can beat San Francisco, a team that I know that's going to embarrass him, he will officially have earned my respect, and I am officially down with Tua. I said that too. I told y'all that 3 weeks leading up to the game. If he beats San Francisco, I'm done talking about him. He is our guy for the future. I was willing to put one game over 2.5 seasons, throwing away all the bad he did to say he's our franchise quarterback if he just win that one game. Why did you think I knew so vehemently that he was going to get embarrassed? Why did you think I knew he was going to get embarrassed by them? Because I know when he looked like this MVP, why he was, and I knew them other teams don't allow that wide open crap in the zone. They're going to allow windows, but it's going to be tighter, and you got to show that velocity that you never could do with Flores, throwing over the linebackers under the safety with touch. They're going to make you do it all game. Those passes were there. But he never had the touch because he's never had touch on his passes. But none of that matters. Why was I so strong-hold on knowing 1,000% he was going to get embarrassed? Why would I know that? You act like we weren't underdogs. Well, I'm sorry, Phantom. If Tua would have played like he did versus the Lions, it didn't matter if we were underdogs. We would have won. But you can't play like you did versus the Lions. Not against no real defense that ain't giving you wide open receivers all day. The only game I've seen Tua cook in his whole career. The only game that I've seen him truly cook in tight coverage. I mean, it was just rough the whole day, but he was cooking. Only one game. And sadly enough, it was the Green Bay game this year, and he threw them 3 picks. And screwed it all up. That is the only game of his career that I saw a defense that wasn't having it, and he cooked them. Ball placement, flawless. I mean, the ball placement was flawless. Like if I got that Tua, I would be the lead to it near. I'll fight whoever it is for it. He was flawless in that Green Bay game outside of those picks. That level of play, I was shocked. They were tight coverage. I mean, they were all, oh my God, Green Bay D'd up. And he was eating them alive. Perfect pass, just outside. Man, the guy was bowling. Real talk, Tua was bowling. And he threw them 3 picks. Had to even himself out. God dog. Had to blow it. Had to freaking blow it. Had to blow it. He's 8-4 in games he start. Now go to those 4 losses. Let's compare those to the 8 wins and look at the level of competition. Go give me a win percentage this year with the 4 teams versus the 8. I bet you get at least a .20 difference. At least. The losses is probably, the team's win percentage is probably .60. The wins, the team's percentage is probably .40. I don't want to hear that, man. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is the sad part about it. Many of them games, he had already played many of those Green Bay Chargers and 49ers game. He already had a few of those. Lucky for him, they just dropped the interceptions to show it. He already had a few of those games in the season. He just dropped the interceptions, y'all. I mean, the defense just dropped the interceptions to show it. Lucky him. TD, who is the best replacement for Tua that we neglect to bring in? Everybody available? I mean, number 1 is Lamar. That's hands down. That's the number 1 fish on the market this year. Number 2 is Tom Brady. Number 2 fish. Number 3 is Aaron Rodgers. Not for me, though, because of his cap hit, but he is number 3 from a skill level and veteran with weapons and a team ready to win. Number 4, I would go Kirk Cousins. He's always tradable. That's why they do them 1-year re-ups for him every time. And number 5, not Kirk Cousins, he's 4. 5 is Derek Carr. Number 6, I mean, it could go from there. Everybody else, I don't even want, but I would like as a backup, but these guys may not want to be backups. They want to start. They want to start. That's why this whole notion of bring in a real backup, bring in a good backup. All right, let's play this game. Tell me what backup out there that know that they aren't going to start will be willing to come to Miami. They know they aren't going to start. Tell me what backup you could bring in that's good, that know that they're not going to start. Name the backup. Please name the backup. And remember, his backup, they can't be a guy who's going to beat out Tua. But they got to be good enough to where if Tua go out, we going to win games. And they're not going to threaten the starting position. Cooper Rush. What makes you think Cooper Rush is, man, Cooper Rush might get a starting job somewhere. Remember, I said they like this player can't be eligible for a starting job somewhere because that means they're a starting quarterback. That would mean they're a starting quarterback. Nice. I like that. Thank you. Make me one. Okay. it's going to be real hard for you to come up with the name. And on top of it, you got to get them before anybody else. You got to be more appealing than anybody else. And now what? You might have to spend more money than you did with Teddy just to get him? You see what I'm saying? That's the dilemma we're in. Anybody that's worthy of it, you're going to have to pay them at least $12 million. And nobody's doing that for a backup. They might as well be the guy. You can't pay your backup more than Tua. You think Jimmy G gonna take $5 million? Y'all done lost y'all mind. Jimmy G might end up starting for the Jets or the Patriots or something for $15, $20 million as a starter. This is the dilemma we're in. Why is it so hard for us to find a guy? You know why? Because Tua's so close to that line. He's so close to that. Yeah, he good, but he ain't elite like those guys. He's right there. He's like, Tua himself is an upper echelon backup for his durability and his inconsistencies. That's what y'all don't realize. Tua is a high-end backup, low-end starter. I know you won't admit that, but that's the issue. That's why we have these backup quarterback issues, because the starter himself is a low-end starter and a high-end backup. He good enough not to be good enough. He can ball sometimes. Like Tua is the perfect backup. Your starter get hurt. We got 3 games coming up: the Lions, the Bears, and the Browns. He can win your games. He capable of winning games when your starter go out. That's the reality. That's why it's so hard to find a backup, because those backups are actually not far off from his play. The thing you got to realize with Tua is, even if you see great play from him, it's inconsistent, because when you see a Lions game, you're going to see a freaking San Francisco game. When you see a freaking Bears game, you're going to see a Chargers game. When you see a freaking Browns game, you're going to see a Green Bay game. You see how I just matched that up for you? That's what you call inconsistency. And you add injuries on top of that. He's going to end up like the Tyrods and the Teddys and the Jameis. They all could ball, but they inconsistent and they always getting hurt. And that's the sad thing. I can match every game. I can match every game, y'all. Baltimore comeback. San Francisco debacle. Lions ripped them apart. Chargers fell apart. Bears shredded them up. Green Bay gave it up. Browns dominated. Pittsburgh got dominated. Luckily, we won. I can match every game. Now, give me another good one. It ain't out there. Buffalo. Okay. Houston. Oh, okay. New England. Not so great, but okay. And I ain't got no more games because Tua ain't played no more. Oh, Cincinnati, half a game. I could match it up. Just as many things that make you happy, just as many things are like, what were you doing? No, Money Mitch, we don't do that on this channel. We don't say comments like, you're reaching now, but don't explain how. Because you'll see that I'm not. You can't articulate how I'm reaching, then I'm not. How am I reaching? For every good game he had one bad. No, sir. If Brock keep balling, does Mike call about Trey? Man, I gotta study Trey Lance more. Y'all keep bringing him up, and I don't know enough about Trey Lance. I don't know if enough about Trey. I mean, is Trey Lance better than Tua? Yes or no in the comment section. Is Trey Lance better than Tua right now? Yes or no in the comment section. Yes or no in the comment section. Explain this to me. No. Then what are we talking about? Why are we calling? Why are we calling? Now we getting a few yeses, but I done got enough no's, and I done got a maybe. I'm gonna be honest. Y'all just told me all I need to know. Why are we calling? If you ain't an upgrade over Tua, what I look like wasting? Stop it. Stop. I mean, this is what y'all need to understand. If Tua was the only option, I'm fine. It is what it is. Let's see if we can build. But if we got a better option, then I want to move on. I'm not 100% opposed to Tua being here, but if you got a chance to go ahead and know now, because like I always tell y'all, we don't know what he going to end up being. I just have my opinion on what he going to end up being, but he might end up being the greatest of all time. We don't know. Time will tell. But I got to go with what I feel until time tells otherwise. That's my thought. Get Brady in here immediately, please. Tua can back up for a year and get healthy, hopefully. Listen, y'all, get the quarterback thing out of your mind. Get it out of your mind. It's not happening. Get the whole quarterback. They done said Tua will be our starter next year. Once they said that, I'm done with dealing with it. It is what it is. Now, there should be no reason for excuse from this point forward. Tua or Brady, I mean, that's Brady all day. I ain't no fool. And it was just sad last night watching these people try to justify why you don't need to get Brady. Did you see Brady last night and you still want him? Y'all need to stop. That's like seeing Tua versus the 49ers and me saying y'all still want him. Stop. And he was better than Tua was versus the 49ers. So stop. All I saw last night was a Brady on his way out of Tampa. Just like when we dogged him in New England his very last game. It was the last game of the season that I remember in the regular season. We got a pick six and all. He looked disinterested and he was trash. Then the very next year, he goes on to win a Super Bowl. So I'm sorry. Yeah, saying Brady played like trash all year is interesting, especially given the fact that y'all always talking about, Tua stats, and Brady's stats were just once again up there. But to say he played like trash all year with the 32nd ranked run game and still put up 4,700 yards, I don't know about that. And still didn't throw a ton of picks. I'm sorry. TD, what will be our record next year? All we can do is base that off of what we know now. So let me tell y'all what we know now based off of what teams did this year. I'm gonna indulge you with that, and then I'm gonna get out of here until tonight when we try to do this film study. Okay. I'm gonna give you a record, the earliest record prediction you are gonna get from anybody, I guess. Miami Dolphins 2023 schedule. Ooh. All right. At Washington on the road. W. At Kansas City on the road, L. At Chargers on the road, L. Buffalo at home, W. I'm just gonna be generous for us. New England on at home, W. Jets at home, W. Broncos, as of now, W. And trust me, all these gonna change depending on what they do in the offseason. Because the Broncos ain't gonna be what they were. But I'm glad that's at home. Raiders, W. We got 6 wins so far. We 6-2, y'all. Cowboys at home, L. Giants at home, L. Patriots on the road, right now, W. Even though we got to see what they do at the quarterback position, because that will change it if they get a top guy. Jets on the road, L. Philly on the road, L. Buffalo on the road, L. Baltimore on the road, L this time. Tennessee at home, W. Carolina at home, W. We are 9-8 next year. That's my early prediction. 9-8. 9-8. And here's the messed up part about it. I don't see any of those teams that we lost to digressing because their stuff is intact for long term. But at least 4 of those 9 wins could be losses depending on what they do in the offseason. Denver ain't no guarantee. They'll get their stuff together next offseason. That defense is real, and we going to have to face it, and you better hope we don't face it in the first 6 games. Patriots depend on their quarterback. I got us sweeping them if you didn't notice, but that's going to depend on their quarterback. Buffalo, I got us splitting. I'm going to keep it that way, matter of fact. Tennessee, I put W because we home, but I don't know. The way they play defense is Tua's calling card. And they ain't finna back it up just because of no Tyreek and Waddle. They don't do that for anybody. But I got us winning. So games like Denver, games like the Patriots, games like the Jets could also be losses. But it is what it is. 9-8 is your earliest prediction. 9-8, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Anywho, I will see y'all tonight for film study. I got to go get the boys to bed, say their prayers, do all that good stuff. This is TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Hopefully I helped you better understand the salary cap situation. Outside of that, man, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. I will see y'all soon. Peace. I am out. Love you.